From the Bob Mills Weather Center, meteorologist Andrew Adams.
Foggy start across Oklahoma this morning. That fog not quite as dense once you get south of the Red River into North Texas, so good for the Big 12 championship. But you look all across our Lucky Star Skycam network, all single one of these boxes in the 6 box. They're cloudy. Now, granted, not all of them had the super dense fog right at the surface, but even if it's not, the cloud deck is incredibly low this morning. We can see where the fog is at. 0 miles visibility out at Will Rogers, our Clinton site. Alva clocking in at 0 as well, and Altus. So central and western and northwestern, southwestern Oklahoma, seeing the dense fog. A little patch of dense fog down near Durant, but that's not quite as expansive as the dense fog that we've got around the central portion of the state. But everyone's seeing a little bit lower visibility this morning with dense fog advisories along the I-35 corridor and areas to the west, as well as portions of southeastern Oklahoma out of the viewing area through 9 a.m. this morning. Freezing fog still possible up to the far northwest, but we'll take a look at temperatures in a second. They're going in the right direction to prevent that from being much of an issue. Elsewhere on satellite and radar, not showing you the fog, just some of the higher level clouds and of course the rain, a lot of rain down across the southeast. Some returns are showing up on radar down across Texas, and we could see some sprinkles in parts of the state today, but for the most part, the weekend's looking dry. We've got the dense fog early, and they were pretty nice. Cool fall air sticks around. That's 50s today. Tomorrow, we're back in the low 60s, and then eventually, as we continue to warm through this week, we could get into the low 70s for parts of the state. So much warmer air until we get into the coming weekend, where our next real change-up arrives. That is next Saturday and Sunday. Storm system comes in from the west, cuts off from main jet stream. Looks like we could get enough of a jet stream wind over the region to get some thunderstorms from Texas all the way up the plains. So that would be a nice rain, and at this point, doesn't look like anything winter for us, but a cold shot down on the back side of it. We'll keep an eye on that as this forecast changes over the next several days. But any precip that we can get, any rain, is going to be good for the state. Today's rain, not very accumulating is what we can expect. In fact, some of this, I know Future Next Gen by 11 o'clock shows some in south central and even into portions of the south metro of Oklahoma City. A lot of this likely ends up just being virga, just lofted precipitation that never hits the ground, but occasionally some of these will have enough weight that we could drop some droplets down to the surface. So some very light rain possible from southern into eastern Oklahoma as we go through parts of the afternoon, but later in the afternoon we'll break out some more sunshine, dry things out here across the state. Should look really nice and cool with those 50s. There's the cloud deck, very low on our National Academy Museum camera, Lucky Star Skycam network, 36 degrees. Doesn't look to be impacting drivers too much, though visibility, of course, you can tell just looking down 44 there how much lower it gets the farther you look. There's the freezing line. It's been receding. That's a plus. Most of us are in the mid 30s with some upper 30s out there, but when you factor on the wind, about 5 to 15 miles per hour, makes it feel more like the low 30s and upper 20s this morning. Feels like 29 right now in Oklahoma City. And then the relative humidity added on top of that, that's where we're getting our fog relative humidity values from 99 to 100% central and western Oklahoma. The fog is there, but that will burn off here over the next couple of hours. By the end of the show, things should be nicer, but still cloudy. But through 9 a.m. at least, that dense fog advisory along the I-35 corridor and west is going to be in effect, as well as portions of southeastern Oklahoma. And then up into far northwestern Oklahoma, just keep an eye on through the next hour or two some of those bridges and overpasses, as temperatures up there are still below freezing barely. This afternoon, they'll be in the 40s in northern Oklahoma. Most of us get into the 50s, even some 60s to the southwest. 10 to 20% chance of a couple sprinkles, maybe some light rain in southwestern to far eastern Oklahoma. Just a few drops. Doesn't add up to too much. Overnight, back below freezing. It is cold tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, though, we take a step in the right direction, back into the low 60s, and that's where we are for most of the 9-day. Much warmer, though, by Thursday and Friday of this coming week before the weekend storm system arrives. Hopefully we get some good rain out of that. That's all we got for now. News 9 is going to be back in just a few minutes.